In language learning, it's always a good idea to know more than one way to say everything. In this video, we're going to look at 3 ways to express your preference in any situation if it were up to you. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to give this video a quick like. Let's get started. As the Rolling Stones so famously said, you can't always get what you want. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check the description for a link to the official video for this iconic song. And no, you can't always get what you want. But at least you can express what your preference would be if you could get what you want. For instance, let's say you have 3 rambunctious boys who are always getting into trouble. This morning, the school called to say that they had set a trash can on fire and all 3 of them are suspended for 2 weeks. If it were up to you, they'd be in military school, but your wife can't bear the thought of not having them at home. Listen to this snippet. You boys are lucky your mother's such a softie, because if it were up to me, you'd all be in military school. Here, the father means that if he had the choice, in other words, if he could make the decision on his own and have his preference, all 3 of his sons would be in military school. Now let's look at 3 ways to say this in other words. If I had my way. You may have heard the expression to get one's way or to have one's way, meaning to be able to do what you want to do. For instance, you hear about kids throwing tantrums when they can't have their way. Well, you can also use this expression in the context of having a choice in a matter, having a preference. In the 40s, the U.S. went through a period of panic called the Red Scare, brought on by the rise of communism in the world and the fear that it might reach American shores. As a result, a lot of high-profile Americans were publicly questioned about their possible communist affiliations by Senator Joseph McCarthy. Among them was a Hollywood actor named Robert Taylor. When asked how he felt about communists, he famously answered, "If I had my way about it, they'd all be sent back to Russia or some other unpleasant place."
If I had my way about it, they'd all be sent back to Russia or some other unpleasant place.
Obviously, the world has changed since then, and we don't consider Russia unpleasant. And we love our Russian brothers and sisters. Note that he said, "if I had my way about it." Most people just say, "if I had my way."
And if I had my way, I'd lock each one of you up in jail right now and save the world a whole lot of trouble in the future.
If I had my way, you'd never leave.
If I had my way, you would never advertise.
If I had my way, you'd be out of the country tomorrow.
You boys are lucky your mother's such a softie, because if I had my way, you'd all be in military school. As a variation of "if I had my way," you may hear people say, "if I had my druthers." What are druthers, you ask?
That's a great question.
Druthers is a bit humorous because it comes from the phrase "I'd ruther," where ruther is some regional variation of rather.
If I had my druthers, I could go down there myself.
For one, if I had my druthers, I would face northeast.
Mr. Dickey, my client is here to make a statement regarding where she was at the time, not her sexual druthers.
If I had my druthers, I'd...
You boys are lucky your mother's such a softie, because if I had my druthers, you'd all be in military school. If I had a say, if I had any say in it. When we use the word say as a noun, it has only one meaning, a choice. In other words, a preference. Someone who has no say in a matter has no vote. Their preference doesn't matter.
If I had a say, you wouldn't be getting this promotion.
She should be suspended if I had any say.
Well, you don't have a say in it.
I don't have a say in this, do I?
No, you don't have a say.
You boys are lucky your mother's such a softie, because if I had any say in it, you'd all be in military school. In a perfect world. This one speaks for itself. Basically, you're saying, in the kind of world that I would consider perfect, things would be like this or like that.
Perfect world, we'd have like 5 assistants, you know?
In a perfect world, that would definitely matter.
In a perfect world, I'd lock you in a stockade in the public square.
In a perfect world, I wouldn't be rushing you.
And in a perfect world, you and I would just waltz into the court, you tell them what Shayla said, and they'd reopen your case.
You boys are lucky your mother's such a softie, because in a perfect world, all 3 of you would be in military school. Thank you as always for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more content like this.